Imagine opening your investment account on a random Tuesday morning. Nothing feels different. You make your coffee, check your notifications. Then you see a number that stops you cold. Net worth, $2,500,000. You blink, refresh the screen, check again. The number doesn't change. For years you chased promotions, worked overtime, showed up early, stayed late. You always assumed wealth belonged to people above you. People with corner offices, luxury cars, big titles, people like your boss. But today something feels different. For the first time, a strange thought enters your mind. What if you're actually richer than he is? First, it sounds ridiculous. Then curiosity takes over. You start doing the math. And the answer will completely change the way you think about money forever. Because what you're about to discover has nothing to do with salary. You expected to feel excited, maybe even celebrate, but instead, you feel confused. Because your entire life, wealth had a face. It wore expensive suits, sat in executive meetings, parked luxury cars in reserved spaces. And every one of those images pointed to your boss. The person who seemed miles ahead of you. The person everyone respected. The person earning more money than anyone else in the office. Yet today, you're staring at a number that challenges everything you believed. How could this be possible? How could an employee become wealthier than the person signing the paychecks? The answer isn't hidden in a bigger salary. It's hidden somewhere else. Somewhere most people never look. And once you see it, you'll never look at success the same way again. You remember your first day at work, walking into the office, trying to look confident, trying to fit in. You remember seeing your boss for the first time. The office, the title, the authority, the lifestyle. To you, that looked like the finish line, the ultimate destination. You promised yourself that one day you'd reach that level. But something unexpected happened over the years. While most employees chased promotions, you quietly started buying assets. A few shares here, an ETF there, a small investment account that nobody paid attention to. At first it felt insignificant, but those tiny decisions were quietly building something powerful, something nobody could see. And years later, those invisible choices would create a gap no promotion could ever close. The difference didn't happen overnight. In fact, nobody could see it. Every month, your boss earned a bigger paycheck, a bigger bonus, a bigger raise. From the outside, he was winning. But something invisible was happening beneath the surface. Every time you got paid, you quietly bought assets. A few ETF shares, a few stocks, small ownership pieces of businesses around the world. Nothing looked impressive. Nobody congratulated you. Nobody noticed. But ownership has a strange habit. It grows when nobody is watching. While salaries stop the moment work stops, assets keep working, day and night, weekends, holidays, even while you sleep. And year after year, those tiny invisible purchases slowly became a machine producing wealth. The scary part? Most people never notice this difference until it's too late. Because what looks small today can become massive tomorrow. At one point, you and your boss weren't that different. Both earned good money. Both had opportunities. Both had access to the same financial system. But one decision repeated thousands of times changed everything. Every paycheck creates a choice. Spend, or invest, consume, or own. Most people think wealth is built through one giant decision. It isn't. It's built through thousands of tiny decisions nobody remembers. Your boss upgraded his lifestyle every year. A bigger house, a nicer car, more expensive vacations. You upgraded your ownership. More shares, more assets, more cash flow producing investments. Year after year the gap widened. Not because one person worked harder, but because one person owned more. And ownership compounds. That's the secret most people miss. The biggest wealth gaps don't start with income. They start with choices. Then came the years nobody talks about. The boring years. The slow years. The years where nothing seemed to happen. While coworkers chased promotions, your portfolio quietly kept growing. 1 year became 2. 2 became 5. 5 became 10. And then something magical happened. Compounding stopped looking like a straight line and started looking like a rocket ship. The gains became bigger than your contributions. The growth became bigger than your salary raises. Your money started making money. Then that money started making even more money. This is the stage where most wealth is created. Not from hard work, but from time. Time is the most powerful force in investing. And the people who understand that early gain an enormous advantage. Because eventually, compounding becomes impossible to ignore. Meanwhile, your boss fell into a trap. The trap almost everyone falls into. Lifestyle inflation. The more he earned, the more he spent. A nicer neighborhood, a bigger mortgage, luxury subscriptions, private schools, expensive habits. Every upgrade felt deserved. And maybe it was. But every upgrade created something else. A larger financial obligation. More expenses. More pressure. More dependence on the next paycheck. The strange thing about lifestyle inflation is that it often looks like success. But behind the scenes, can quietly destroy wealth. Because wealth isn't measured by what you spend. It's measured by what you own. And while your boss was upgrading his lifestyle, you were upgrading your assets. Those two paths eventually lead to completely different destinations. The funny thing is, nobody saw it coming. Not your coworkers, not your friends, not even your boss. Because you never looked rich. You still drove a normal car, still lived below your means, still avoided unnecessary spending. From the outside, nothing had changed. But behind the scenes, everything had changed. Your assets were now producing income. Your investments were compounding faster than ever. Your net worth was growing whether you worked or not. And then one ordinary morning, you opened your account, looked at the number, and realized something unbelievable. The employee had become wealthier than the boss. Not through luck, not through inheritance, not through gambling, but through years of invisible ownership. And what happens next is something almost nobody is prepared for. The moment arrived quietly. No celebration, no fireworks, no congratulations, just a normal morning. You opened your investment account like you had done hundreds of times before, and then you saw it. Your net worth had crossed your boss's. The person you once looked up to, the person earning more than you for years, the person everyone assumed was wealthier. And suddenly everything felt different. Not because the number changed you, but because it confirmed something. The game had never been about income. It was about ownership. The same lesson repeated throughout history. Employees earn income. Owners build wealth. And for the first time, you fully understood the difference. But becoming wealthier than your boss didn't feel how you imagined. You expected excitement. You expected victory. Instead, you felt calm. Because deep down you realized something important. Money wasn't the goal. Freedom was. The goal wasn't proving anyone wrong. The goal wasn't showing off. The goal wasn't buying things. The goal was choice. The ability to work because you want to, not because you have to. The ability to spend time where it matters. The ability to say no. And that's when wealth becomes different. Because true wealth isn't measured in dollars. It's measured in freedom. After that day, work changed. Not because your job changed. Because your relationship with money changed. You no longer feared losing income. You no longer depended on a paycheck. Your assets had become their own economy. Dividends arrived. Businesses generated cash flow. Investments kept growing. Whether you worked or not. For years your boss owned your time. Now your assets were buying it back. One day at a time. And that's when you realized something powerful. Financial freedom doesn't arrive all at once. It arrives slowly, quietly, one asset at a time. Eventually the truth surfaced. Not through bragging. Not through social media. Not through showing off. Someone noticed. Someone asked. And slowly the story spread. The boss was shocked. Not because you became wealthy. Because nobody saw it happening. You never looked rich. You never acted rich. You simply kept buying ownership. Year after year. Quietly. Patiently. And that's what makes wealth so interesting. The biggest financial transformations are usually invisible. Until suddenly, they're impossible to ignore. By now, everyone expected a winner and a loser. Boss versus employee. Rich versus richer. But that's not what happened. Because the real winner wasn't you. And it wasn't your boss. The real winner was the person who learned ownership. The person who understood compounding. The person who stopped trading every dollar for time. That lesson can change anyone's future. No matter where they start. No matter what they earn. Because wealth isn't reserved for a special group of people. It's built through principles. And principles work for everyone. Becoming richer than your boss wasn't the achievement. It was simply a milestone. The real achievement was freedom. The freedom to choose your work. The freedom to choose your time. The freedom to choose your future. And that's why most millionaires don't look like millionaires. Because the smartest investors aren't chasing status. They're chasing options. While everyone else is trying to look wealthy, they're quietly becoming wealthy. And one day, the same thing could happen to you. Not through luck. Not through secrets. Not through shortcuts. But through ownership. Because the moment your assets start working harder than you do, everything changes. So here's the truth. Becoming richer than your boss was never the goal. The goal was freedom. The freedom to wake up without financial stress. The freedom to spend time with the people you love. The freedom to choose how you spend your life. Most people spend decades chasing a bigger paycheck. But the people who build real wealth chase something different. Ownership. Because every stock, every ETF, every business, every asset you own, is a tiny employee working for you. And the more employees you own, the less you have to work for money. Remember, your future isn't determined by your salary. It's determined by what you own. 10 years from now, you can still be trading time for money, or you can be living from assets that work while you sleep. The choice starts today. Start small. Stay consistent. Let compounding do the heavy lifting. And one day, you might look around and realize you've built a life most people only dream about.